How are we doing, troops? Christmas cleaning with the File Coast once again. So I have been asked today about how we organise our customer sheet, and how that's changed from day one. So back in my day, back in the early days of vestry cleaning, we used a notebook and pen to mark down things like payments and stuff like that. And if you've got less than 100 customers, quite frankly, there is nothing wrong with using notebook and pen. If you've got no desire to grow, if you've got no desire to take on staff, added responsibilities, or do commercial work, then fair enough. That, for me, makes sense. And what I used to do is I used to have a maths book, and with like 5mm squares in it. And what I used to do is I used to mark off a single line for the appointment for the windows having been cleaned, and then I used to mark a cross against that if they paid. If they skipped, I put a round circle, and basically, if we're going, that was basically how we managed to sort of, how I managed to do the payments. And again, if it's a small business with like 100, maybe 200 less, then really that I think is perfectly adequate. But if you want staff, if you want higher turnover, and if you want to grow, then very unfortunately, the more and more people you deal with, the more and more problems you're going to come up against. And we've all had it where someone's refused payment, or someone has said, I've already paid you in X, Y, and Z. And even though you know it at the absolute root of you know it down to your boots that they've definitely not paid you. And they're just either they're pulling a fast one, or they genuinely believe they've paid you when they bloody well haven't. So the thing is that if you operate with a notebook and pen, there is, while there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, if you operate with a notebook and pen, there is this perceived sort of attitude that you'll get from the customer, and I've seen it myself, where they look at you as a small fry business. They don't really give you the respect as a business owner that you actually deserve. And again, there's nothing wrong, and I'm not complaining. It's just a fact of life. People are not going to take you seriously when you very first start out. But as you get bigger and they start seeing things, there's like signs, when you start turning up to work with someone helping you, and it's like, oh, he's taking on staff, and oh, he's got 2 vans, and oh, he's got 3 vans, and oh, has he got 4 guys working for him? And does he do the local KFC? Does he clean the windows on that? Does he clean the windows on the pub? And all of a sudden it becomes almost a gradual process. But as you start taking bigger jobs on, more well-known jobs, and particularly commercial, you'll start getting recognised, and it'll be like, oh right, well, he must be decent if he's doing their windows and all this, and it's this whole social proof, isn't it? Right? This whole, oh, you're a small fry individual. But again, a lot of businesses start out as little side hustle, small fry businesses, whatever. And if they continue to look at you as small fry, then it's very easy to sort of get into the habit of treating your business like a side hustle. I've always said to people, when they've started a business, they should never call it a side hustle, because all you will treat it as is a side hustle. Give it the respect that it deserves, call it a business, treat it as a business. So as you grow and you get more customers, you might want to consider another way of storing the customer's information. You might want to add it to an app. So again, I use Squeegee. I am not sponsored by them, nor am I looking for sponsorship from anybody. I say what works. Whether I'm sponsored by anybody or not, I'll give the God's honest truth. But the thing is we use Squeegee, and I know many people that use Cleaner Planner. A Worker is another one. And the good thing about these things is these apps is that you store people's information. It puts it into a timetable, into a diary. You can create around in certain areas. Some of them have route optimization, all this sort of jazz. But the one thing that they all share in common, which will aid you more than anything else, is the fact that it's in black and white. When a customer has paid you, it's in black and white. When you've attended, it's in black and white. When you have given an invoice out, it's in black and white. Okay, and the better your record keeping is, the more respect you're going to get from customers. And when I say respect, I don't mean they're going to give you a pat on the back. What I mean is they're not going to fuck you around. The more you go to, if you have a credit card payment and stuff like that, because they have a list of payments that you've made and all this sort of stuff. There is no denying it. It's there in black and white. It's not. You would never pick a fight with a credit card company over fees and all this sort of stuff. If the record keeping was on point, you'd be like, all right, well, I can't argue that. It's there in black and white. And what you want to do is, as a window cleaning business owner, or any business owner for that matter, is have your admin on point, have your payments on point, all your invoicing is stored in one place, etc. And then if the client makes an online payment, well, then there's a black and white marking in your on your banking app that they've paid. And if a customer says they've paid and they haven't done, it's almost like, right, well, what day did you pay on? And you give the problem back. You say, look, I've not received a payment from you. So whether you say you paid or not is irrelevant. I haven't received a payment. So if you wouldn't mind, go back through your banking app and just make sure that the payment actually went through. And I've had this literally like 3 days ago. A customer we clean the windows for. It's a £35 house. It's 3 floors in Lytham. Very nice house. Lovely lady. But she was adamant that she paid. And all I had to do was I took a screenshot of the 4 appointments that we've done for her. Okay. And basically said, these are the appointments that we've done. These are the invoices, as you can see. Okay. The first payment we got off you was on this date. Okay. And you'll notice that was 4 days before the next appointment. So what you've done is you've settled one bill, but you still owe us for one. Okay. There was no arguing. There was no getting away with it. There was no pulling the wool over my eyes, if you like. And not that I think that she was. I think that she was just genuinely confused that the payment had not come through. But because my admin is on point, because the payments are all lined up on the app, because I can show her dates, times, I can show her invoices, and you can say what you like. The information doesn't lie. Okay. With notebook and pen, okay, it's literally your word against theirs. That's it. That is it. But when you start going electronic, when you start taking bank transfer as payment, you are protecting yourself to some extent, because, you cannot argue. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Okay. And she might say, well, I know for a fact I paid you on this day. And you say, right, well, that's cool, but I can prove for a fact you haven't. And this is when, and in the past, again, I've taken people to small claims court for small fry debts, but it's the principle. I've not made the investment in my business that I have made. I have not taken the staff on. I have not taken the risks that I've taken, so that someone can sort of ask for work and then deem it not worthy to make a payment for it. End of the day, if you've asked for the service, you shall receive the service, but by God, you will also pay for it. Okay. I had a gentleman who we charged £20 every 4 weeks to clean their windows, and we got to 3 months in, and he'd not made a single payment. So I asked him politely, and I asked him politely, and I asked him politely, and I emailed him, and I texted him, and I turned up at his door, and I knocked on, and there was no response. So then the third clean came around, we cancelled. We basically skipped it. 6 months later, he's still not paid. I'm thinking to myself, right. Went to the guy's door, knocked on the door. The guy's like, oh, blah blah. I've already paid you. No, you haven't. Well, what are you going to do about it? I says, well, I'll take you to small claims, mate. And he laughed in my face. Yeah. You're going to take me to small claims court? Take me to small claims court for 40 quid? I dare you. trust me, those two words, you know, or three words that you should never ever say to me when, you know, we're having a disagreement. It's like, I dare you. And it's like, oh, you do you? Watch this. I says, right, okay, no dramas at all. I says, listen, you've got till Friday. If I've not received the money by Friday, on Monday morning, I will submit to small claims court, and I'll get paid. That's it. And I walked off. So then I paid my fees, which I think amounted to about, I think it was a 30, I can't remember off the top of my head now, I think it was like 35 quid all in for the fees. And then I paid for my time, burnt fuel, I paid for the text messages that I sent him. I sent him 26 text messages at 3p each. I billed him for my fuel, for turning up at his house, because he's about half an hour drive from my house, both ways. So, okay, fine, no dramas. So that £40 bill amounted to 98 quid. And he, bottom line is, play silly games, win silly prizes. So, and again, it all goes back to this whole ability to prove lack of payment. When I went through the small claims court, they literally on their website said, do you have proof of invoices? Do you have this, X, Y, and Z? Do you have blah, blah, blah? And it's like, yeah, sure. And then you just upload this information to the page when asked to do so. Happy days. Then it's done. It's in their hands then. And I've had a business in the past do the same thing, but it was for a significant amount, a significantly larger amount of money. It was for, they owed me 180 quid, and by the time I'd finished taking them to the small claims court, it was, the bill came back at 540 quid, and they paid it. So, you know, the thing is like I say, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. If at the end of the day you are owed money, it's incumbent on you to, you know, get yourself paid. And sure, these apps do cost money, and yes, it's significantly more expensive than a notebook and pen, but it's significantly better than a notebook and pen, because the more professional your business is, the less likely you are to get, you know, the runaround. And that, I'm all for an easy life. That is what it's all about. I am not, no one started a business, least of all me, to break my back trying to get money out of people that have asked for a service but they just refuse to pay us. And if you give the problem back and say, nah, sorry mate, you've asked for a service, we provided the service, there's a list of invoices, etc., there's a list of dates that we've turned up, and this is a list of payments we've received from you, and as you can see, we've come, for argument's sake, you've asked for window cleaning, and in the past 4 months we've come 4 times and we've received 2 payments, therefore there's 2 invoices outstanding, you will pay it. And that's all you have to do. Show them the evidence. And most people, when confronted with proof, will just back down because they know they're wrong. Even if they are adamant to start with that they are right, the second you show them proof, they will back down. They will backpedal faster than faster than they can run going forward. But you have to show them the proof. There is no shortcut in it. Oh well, and all this sort of stuff is. But in the early days, yeah, I lost a lot of money because it was a case of it was my word against theirs, and that's what's effectively forced me to look at things like Squeegee or Cleaner Planner, A-Worker, whatever it's called, and others. And I had a right good look at all of them, and I decided that this one works for us best, and just stuck with it, So what I would say is, if you're looking to grow your business, one of the things you have to consider is that image of professionalism. When get a text message the night before, you do X, Y, and Z. Offer more value, you can charge more fees. And this is the thing: if you're worried, if you're one of these window cleaners at the minute that's worried about charging more money, then all you've got to do is basically add more value. Text your customers the night before. Give them a text message invoice. Keep good records, and then do a good job. The rest takes care of itself. So I'm going to leave the video here anyway, because I could prattle on about this all day. I could wax lyrical till the cows come home. But yeah, it's Friday. We made it. No one died, and more importantly, I've been paid. Have a good one, boys and girls. Keep on keeping on. I'll see you in the next one.